coffee on the counter still tastes like yesterday, and every little memory refuses to fade away. You said we both needed time, said distance makes it clear, but all this empty silence just amplifies you here. You're learning how to move on, I'm learning how to cope. You walked into the sunlight, I stayed here with the hope. I stayed missing you alone in the middle of the night, holding conversations with your side of the light. You let go so easily, like we were never sown. You found your way to freedom. I stayed missing you alone. Your jacket's in my closet, your laughter in my head, the way you used to hold me replays inside my bed. I told my friends I'm healing, that I'm finally okay, but healing feels like drowning on the days you feel far away. You said we'll both be stronger when we're standing on our own, but strength feels like a stranger when you're crying on the phone. I see your name light up in someone else's life, while I'm still tracing outlines of what we left behind. I stay missing you alone, through every silent tear, through every hopeful heartbeat, wishing you were here. You stepped into tomorrow like you'd outgrown what we'd known. You closed the door behind you. I stayed missing you alone. Maybe I loved deeper, maybe I held on too tight, maybe you let go sooner because it felt more right. I don't regret the loving or how my heart was shown. I just didn't know I'd grieve you on my own. You moved on in motion, I'm still stuck in the ache, trying to find a version of me that doesn't break. I stayed missing you alone, but I won't stay here forever. I'll gather all the pieces and learn to hold them better. One day this empty room won't feel so overthrown, but tonight the truth is simple. I stayed missing you alone. You said goodbye once and it echoed through my bones. You found someone to hold you. I stayed missing you alone. never meant to stay. You held me like a moment, not a promise you could save. You whispered I'm forever, with your fingers crossed behind. And I believed the tremble in your voice was love, not lies. You were my favorite danger, the habit I couldn't quit. Every time you walked away, I swore that that was it. But the sound of your footsteps leaving was louder than my pride. And every time you turned around, I ran back to your side. You were my weakness, the crack inside my heart, the place I kept on breaking from the very start. I knew you couldn't love me the way I needed you to, but I was strongest without you, and weakest when you said I do. You were my weakness. I memorized your silence, like it meant you still care. Read between the empty lines of words that weren't there. I wore my tears in secret, so you wouldn't see the cost of loving someone who's never mine to lose or lost. You gave me just enough hope to keep me hanging on, like a shadow in your daylight, like a lyric in your song. I kept telling myself, this time he'll choose me, but loving you was slowly undoing me. You were my weakness, the crack inside my heart, the place I kept on breaking from the very start. I knew you couldn't love me the way I needed you to, but I was strongest without you, and weakest when you said I do. You were my weakness. Why does love feel holy when it's hurting this bad? Why do I call it passion when it's everything I never had? I confused your attention for something real and deep, but you only loved me when it was easy. I hated how your touch could undo all my resolve. One look in your direction, and I would let you have it all. You were my weakness, but I'm learning how to stand without your hands around me, without your half-made plans. I don't need your almost, I don't need your truth bent. I'm done being addicted to a love that never meant to keep me. You were my weakness, but I survived the fall, and maybe losing you wasn't weakness after all. It started in the silence between your hand and mine. You stopped reaching for me, stopped looking in my eyes. Your kisses felt like questions, your laughter felt delayed. I felt a shift before you found the words to say. I kept telling myself it's just a passing phase. My love doesn't go quiet without something changing. When you pulled away, I felt the air turn cold, like someone left the room and took your heart to go. I kept holding on to what we used to be. When you pulled away from me. You said you needed space, said you felt confused, but distance had the language and I understood the truth. Your arms were still around me, but your heart was out the door. I was fighting for the feeling you weren't fighting for anymore. I tried to love you louder, tried to love you strong, but you can't hold somebody who's already gone. When you pulled away, I started losing light, blaming my reflection for your fitting fight. I would have moved a mountain if you just asked me to. When you pulled away, I lost you. Love shouldn't feel like guessing what tomorrow brings. Shouldn't feel like begging for the smallest things. If you knew you were leaving, why'd you hold me tight? Why'd you let me fall asleep, believing we were alright? So I've break down and we replay every moment, trying to see the sign, the second that you're forever. Stop lining up with mine. When you pulled away, you took the best of me, but I'm slowly finding strength in setting myself free. like you were never meant to stay. When you pulled away, I felt my heart break. You said we were just tired, that we'd find our way again. But I could feel you drifting, even when you held my hand. You stopped saying forever, like it scared you to believe. I kept saying it for both of us, like love was up to me. I saw the distance growing, but I called it just a phase. I kept lighting candles in a house already in flames. I stayed in love when you were falling out. I kept believing through every doubt. I held on to us with trembling hands, while you let go of all our plans. I stayed in love through every tear, through every night. You disappeared. You walked away like it was easy to rise above. But I stayed in love. I learned to read your silence like it was my native tongue. I shrank my needs down smaller so you wouldn't feel undone. I told myself that patience was the strongest kind of heart. But patience feels like breaking when you're breaking us apart. I thought love meant endurance, standing through the storm. But storms don't last forever when only one stays warm. I stayed in love when it stopped feeling right, when your kisses lost their fight. I kept building dreams on couldn't be saved. You chose to leave. You chose a bow, but I stayed. I stayed in I stayed in love. Your voice turned into echoes through a phone held to my ear. Miles became the silence I was learning how to fear. We said love had no borders, said space couldn't divide, but I felt you growing smaller on the other side. I counted every miss you, like it meant you'd stay. But words can cross an ocean while hearts drift away. I stayed through the distance, through every lonely night, through frozen conversation and pixelated fights. I kept believing in us when it felt so wrong. I stayed through the distance while you moved on. I memorized your time zone, set my heart to match your day. Waited for your good morning, even when it came late. I told myself it's worth it, love just takes some strength. But love shouldn't feel this far, even at full length. I try to bridge the silence with every word I knew, but you can't close the distance when it's growing inside you. I stayed through the distance, through doubts I couldn't name, through nights I cried in quiet, while you looked the same. I kept holding on tighter to what we used to be. I stayed through the distance, but you let go of me. Love shouldn't need a signal just to feel alive, shouldn't fade between the lines of I'm busy tonight. If your heart was still here, why did it feel so far? Why did I feel alone? Even when you were on the call. Now I'm turning off the ringer. letting silence fall, learning how to love myself without your voice at all. I stay through the distance, but I won't stay in pain. I deserve a love that's present, not one I have to strain. If love can't cross the miles without losing what we were, I stay through the distance. Now I'm choosing closer. I waited at the shoreline, watching you drift away. I stay through the distance, but I won't stay that way. Let you see the fragile, the parts I used to hide, the cracks beneath the surface, the tears I cried at night. I told you all my secrets, every fear I was scared of. I never thought you'd be the one I'd have to heal from. I placed my heart so gently in the palm of your hand. You said you're safe here always, and I believed you then. I trusted you with love, with the deepest part of me, with the pieces no one else was ever meant to see. I gave you every promise, every dream I was thinking of. I trusted you with love, and that was enough. Pull me close. You knew how much I feared becoming just a ghost. But somewhere in the comfort of knowing I would stay, you stopped protecting what I gave and let it slip away. I would have fought forever if you just held on, but you grew distant slowly, like you were already gone. I trusted you with love, with my unguarded heart. You had my full surrender right from the start. I never built a wall, I never pushed you off. I trusted you with love, and you let it drop. Love shouldn't feel like walking across a wire alone. Shouldn't feel like giving your heart to someone cold. If I had known the trusted you with love, even when I lost. You were right beside me, but miles behind your eyes. I felt the tide was turning in your quiet goodbyes. Your hand still held my fingers, but your heart had slipped its place. I watched you slowly fading from the look upon your face. I kept telling myself it's just a passing wave, but love doesn't feel steady when one heart won't stay. While you drifted away, I was holding on tight, praying for the morning through every lonely night. I was fighting for forever. You were already gone while you drifted away. I stayed strong. You stopped saying I love you like it used to mean, turned our always and always into in between. I tried to start the conversations, you'd answer with a sigh. I felt us growing distant without a reason why. I thought if I just loved you more, you'd find your way back through. But you can't pull someone closer when they're done choosing you. While you drifted away, I kept building us, turning silence into hope, turning doubt into trust. I was standing in the doorway, begging you to stay while you drifted away. Love shouldn't feel like chasing a boat that's left the shore. Shouldn't feel like knocking on a closing door. If your heart was already leaving, why didn't you say? Why let me keep believing you were here to stay? Now I'm watching the horizon where you disappear, realizing love shouldn't feel this unclear. While you drifted away, I found something in me, a strength I never noticed, a quiet bravery. If love means I'm alone, I won't beg or sway. While you drifted away, I found my way. stars that we would last. Said my heart was safe in yours. You traced forever on my skin like it was something short. I built my world around your words. Every promise that you made was somewhere in your restless eyes. I saw the colors fade. I was steady as the tide. You were drifting with the night. You didn't stay true enough to the love we used to be. I was fighting for us both. You were setting yourself free. You didn't stay true enough when temptation called your name. I was holding on to faith. You were playing different games. I gave you all my trust. Thought that would be enough, but you didn't stay true enough. Heard it in the way you spoke, like it was in your tone. You held my hand a little less, like I was not your home. I asked you if your heart was mine. You said, baby, don't you worry, but love should never feel like it's always in a hurry. I was loyal to the bone. You were halfway gone. You didn't stay true enough to the vows inside your eyes. I was standing in the truth while you were living lies. You didn't stay true enough when it mattered most to try. I was begging you to choose. You were learning how to lie. I gave you all my trust. Thought that would be enough, but you didn't stay true enough. Was you worth the tears you caused? Was it worth the love we lost? I would have walked through fire for you. You just walked across. I never needed perfect love, just honesty and heart. But you let someone else tear our world apart. You didn't stay true enough, and that's the deepest cut. Not that you walked away, but how you gave her us. I was loving you out loud. You were hiding in the dark. Now I'm left with broken vows and a shattered heart. You didn't stay true enough, but I stayed real and strong. I may have lost your love, but I didn't lose my own. You didn't stay true long enough, but I was true all along. You looked at me like I was magic, like I was all you'd ever need. Said I was different from the others. said I was everything you dreamed. You held my face between your hands, like you were scared I'd slip away. But now I know you were just scared of having someone stay. You made me feel like I was chosen, like I was worth the fight. But forever only lived in the softness of that night. I didn't see the hidden in your smile. I was planning out a lifetime. You were staying for a while. You loved me for a while, like a song you used to play on repeat until you found another melody to chase. You held me like forever, but forever wasn't your style. I gave you all my heart. You loved me for a while. You said you saw a future when you looked into my eyes. Now you can barely hold them when we're saying our goodbyes. You told me I was home, but homes aren't left behind. And if I was your everything, why was I so easy to unwind? I keep replaying moments, trying to understand when the warmth inside your touch turned into letting go of my hand. Was I just your comfort till something new came along? Did you know your love was temporary while mine was steady and strong? You loved me for a while, like a season in the sun, warm enough to make me bloom, then gone before I'd begun. You held me like forever, just a chapter in a story you outgrew. 'Cause I was writing wedding vows while you were writing something new. I don't regret loving you. Held me like forever, but forever wasn't your style. Now I'm learning how to live without your borrowed smile. You loved me for a while. We were writing something beautiful in ink that wouldn't dry. Every time we turn a page, you look me in the eyes, said this is just the beginning, like the ending wasn't near. But somewhere in the middle, you just disappeared. We left words hanging in the air like they'd fall back into place, but silence filled the spaces where I used to see your face. Love felt unfinished, like a song without a chord, like a promise left unspoken, like a slam but unlocked door. We were almost something timeless, almost meant to be, but love felt unfinished, and it's unfinished in me. Just a slow fade into strangers, with no reason why. I still keep your sweater hanging by my bed, like if I close my eyes enough, you'll come back instead. I keep replaying memories, trying to find the end, but every road just circles back to where we could have been. Love felt unfinished, like a letter never sent, like a picture torn in half, still trying to make sense. We were almost something lasting, almost set in stone, but love felt unfinished. Now I'm finishing alone. you ever feel it breaking? Or did it slip away? Was I the only one still holding on that final day? If I'd known the clock was ticking, I would have held you tighter. But you walked away so quietly while I burned a little brighter. Saw space beside me where your heartbeat used to be, an empty kind of echo that won't let me sleep. Love felt unfinished, but I'm closing every door. I can't live inside a maybe or a love unsure. We were almost something timeless, but almost isn't free. Love felt unfinished. Now I'm finishing me. If you ever think about us and the way it used to be, just know our love was beautiful, just unfinished in me. We stood on opposite sidewalks, watching traffic pass us by. Said we'd meet in the middle, but never asked why. Your fingers brushed against mine and slowly slipped away. I felt the space between us grow wider every day. I thought love would guide us through the shifting sands, but it felt like we were walking without holding hands. Love didn't hold our hands, didn't lead us through. We were standing side by side, but I was losing you. I kept reaching for your touch, you pulled away instead. Love didn't hold our hands, and we drifted where it led. We talked about forever like it was just ahead, but every road we followed split apart instead. I tried to bridge the distance with every word I knew, but you can't build a future when it's only one of you. I kept calling it a deceiver, said we'd understand, but love shouldn't feel like you're walking unmanned. Love didn't hold our hands when the nights grew cold, break down. Now I'm learning how to walk without your shadow near, finding strength in moving through the ache and fear. Love didn't hold our hands, but I will hold my own. I won't beg for something that leaves me alone. If love is meant to guide me, it won't feel so unplanned. Love didn't hold our hands. Now I understand. We were almost something that might have had a chance, but love didn't hold our hands, and we lost our stance. And we lost our We stood on opposite something, and we lost our stance. We were almost something, and we lost our stance. I smiled so you wouldn't see the cracks forming under me. Held my breath through every fight, just to keep you for the night. You said love was worth the pain, so I learned to hide the rain. Every time you walked away, I begged my heart to stay. I was breaking quietly while you were standing next to me. I loved you with tears falling down my face. I loved you through fears you never tried to erase. I gave you my heart, even drowning in doubt. I held on to us when you were checking out. I called it love for years, but I loved you with tears. distance growing in your eyes. You touched me like a fading flame, like loving me had changed. I told myself, just hold on tight. The storms would turn to light, but I was the only one still fighting for what we'd begun. You were halfway out the door, I was begging for a little more. I loved you with tears, crying in the dark. I loved you through years of slowly breaking hearts. I gave you my trust, even when it hurt. I put you above, knowing I came last. I called it love for you, but I loved you with tears. Maybe I thought if I heard enough, it meant my love was real. Maybe I thought if I stayed long enough, you'd finally feel. But love should never feel like war, shouldn't leave you on the floor. And I can't keep bleeding just to prove what I would do for you. I loved you with tears, but I'm done crying now. I can't keep losing myself just to make you proud. I gave you everything, more than you deserve. I called it love for years, but I finally learned. I loved you with tears, and that's the hardest truth. I would have given you forever, but you couldn't give me you. I loved you with tears. Now I'm loving me too. You used to look at me like I was all you'd ever need. Your hands would find my face like I was where your heart would be. But something shifted slowly, like seasons out of place. Your smile didn't reach your eyes, your touch began to fade. I felt it in the silence, in the space between our names. But I kept telling myself, it's just a phase. I stayed when you changed, when your love grew cold, when forever turned to maybe, and your hand stopped holding. I stayed through every distance, through every quiet pain. I kept loving who you were when you weren't the same. I stayed when you changed. You started closing doors you used to leave wide open. fall short, like feelings left unspoken. I asked if we were okay. You said I worried too much, so I swallowed all my questions just to keep your touch. I thought love meant patience, no matter what it takes. I stayed when you changed, when I felt you slipping away, when I was fighting for tomorrow, when you were done with yesterday. I held on to the knees like they could rearrange the man who used to love me before you changed. Was I loving you alone and didn't wanna see? Did I stay because I loved you, or was I scared to leave? I kept hoping you'd come back to the way you used to be, but you can't force a heart to feel what it doesn't feel anymore. I stayed when you changed, till I almost disappeared, bending into someone who just wanted you near. I gave you all my loyalty while you drifted out of range. I lost myself trying to stay when you changed. Now I'm learning love shouldn't feel like that. It shouldn't make you chase what you already had. I stayed when you changed, but this time I won't. The night is quiet, but my mind's still loud. Your side of the bed feels colder now. Your picture's face down on the dresser drawer. I don't know what I'm looking for. Your coffee cup still by the sink. I haven't washed it, I can't let it slip. If I clean the house, if I clear the air, it means you're really not there. They say time's supposed to heal, but time just makes it real. Every second you're gone feels like goodbye goes on and on. So let me hold on to the echo of your voice in the dark. Let me hold on to the pieces of my shattered heart. If I let go now, I might fall apart. I'm barely breathing since you've been gone. Don't ask me to be strong, just let me hold on. sleep at night. It smells like love and one last fight. We said words we didn't mean. Now silence screams in between. I traced your name across my skin. Like if I press hard, you'll come back again. I replay us in my head, but every ending's what you said. You walked away so sure, like you don't hurt anymore. But I'm still here, holding on to a love that's already gone. So let me hold on to the way you said I was your world. Let me hold on to the memory of being your girl. If I unclench these trembling arms, there'll be nothing left to hold. My tears are falling one by one. Don't tell me to move on, just let me hold on. What if I'm not ready? What if I still believe that somewhere in your broken heart there's still a piece of me? If loving you is weakness, then I'll stay weak tonight. 'Cause losing you is something I don't know how to survive. I'm scared of waking up and not reaching for your hand. Scared of someday loving someone who doesn't understand. So let me hold on, even if it's just a lie. Let me hold on to the last look in your eyes. If I release this fading love, it's like you're truly gone. I'm not ready for that dawn. I'm still here, barely strong, begging time to press rewind. So let me hold on to the ghost of you, to what we used to be. Let me hold on until you let go of me. Used to sing without a tremble. Used to say just what I felt. My heart was loud and unafraid. Didn't need nobody else. Then you came in like a whisper, soft enough to trust. And somewhere in between your arms, my courage turned to dust. You said don't make it complicated, baby, let it be. So I swallowed all my questions till there was no more me. Every time I tried to speak, you'd kiss my words away. And I mistook my silence for love that chose to stay. tears I couldn't cry. I miss the girl who spoke her heart without apology. She didn't beg for space, she didn't shrink to be. I thought silence meant devotion, thought quiet meant I'm strong. But love that steals your language has been wrong all along. I lost my voice in love, but I'm learning how to sing. Even if my hands still shake, even if it stings, I'm letting every truth finally be heard. No more swallowing the pain, no more unsaid words. I found my voice in love when I chose to love myself first. You almost took my music, you almost dim my light, but I'm louder than you're leaving, and I'm finally ready to fight. We started like a river, running wild and fast, laughing in the shallow, thinking it would last. You said we'd dive in deeper when the timing felt right, but we kept skimming surface every single night. I kept waiting for the current to pull us underneath, but your heart stayed in the harbor while mine was in too deep. Love didn't grow deep, it barely touched the shore. I gave you all my ocean, you gave me just enough more. I was ready for forever, for promises to keep, but love didn't grow deep. We talked about our futures like a distant kind of dream, but every time I reached for more, you pulled away from me. I shared my fears and fractures, let you see the truth. You kept your heart in armor like you had something to lose. I thought time would soften you, thought patience was the key, but death needs two hearts willing, not just one heart like me. Love didn't grow deep, it floated on the top. I was sinking in devotion, you were scared to drop. I kept diving for connection while you stood on the beach. Love didn't grow deep. Soft, pregnant, shallow waters can still break your heart. If you keep believing, they'll turn into a star. Love didn't grow deep, but I will someday, with someone unafraid to feel and to stay. I won't beg for oceans from someone scared to leave. Love didn't grow deep, but my heart runs deep. We were almost something more than what we'd keep. Love didn't grow deep, but my love runs deep. I was changing like the seasons, learning who I am, finding strength in broken pieces, making bigger plans. I thought you walked beside me through every step I take, but somewhere in my growing you began to hesitate. I was reaching for the sky, you were holding on to yesterday. Love didn't grow with me, it stayed where it began. I was building who I'd be, you were shrinking where we stand. I was chasing better days, you were scared of what they'd mean. I kept asking you to rise, you stayed somewhere in between. I was ready for forever, you were comfortable where we'd been. Love didn't grow with me, it couldn't follow where I've been. I found my voice in quiet nights, learned to stand alone, started dreaming louder of a life I'd call my own. You said I was different, like it was something wrong, but growth isn't betrayal, it's just becoming strong. I wanted us to bloom, you were fine with barely roots. Love didn't grow with me, it wilted in the light. Every time I spread my wings, you pulled me back in tight. I was turning into someone braver than before. You were missing who I was when I needed less and more. I begged you to keep up, but you let the distance speak. Love didn't grow with me. Maybe we were right once for who we used to be, but staying small for someone isn't loyalty. I can't dim my fire just to make you warm. If love can't handle growth, it was never strong. I won't apologize for or choosing higher ground over staying the same. Love didn't grow with me, so I had to let it go. I can't shrink my future for a comfort I outgrow. I'll miss who we once were, but I won't miss who I became. I'm trying to make you stay while losing my own flame. I'm walking toward tomorrow, even if you disagree, because love should grow beside me, not hold me where I've been. If you ever look for me, I'll be where the light is, still growing. Looked at me like I was chosen, like I was heaven in your hands. Spoken words that sounded golden, built forever out of sand. You wrapped me in your always, like it couldn't disappear. But promises don't mean a thing when they dissolve in fear. Let you see my fragile, let you hear me cry. You swore you never hurt me, now I'm asking why. Was it real when you held me? Did your heart even try? 'Cause the love that you sold me now feels like a lie. Like a lie. Every I need you, every tear you wiped away, like you believed it too. You said I was your future, said I was your life, but forever turning never right before my eyes. If that was love, then why does it hurt this deep inside? Love felt like a lie. You kissed me like you meant it, like I was safe and home. But home doesn't go missing, home doesn't leave you alone. I memorized your heartbeat like it was my favorite song. Now the silence in my chest is screaming you were wrong. You changed without a warning, without a tear to cry. I kept holding on to us while you said goodbye. Was I just your comfort till something better came by? 'Cause the love that you gave me now feels like a lie. Love felt like a lie. Every I need you, every late night stay with me, like you believed it too. You said I was your future, said I was your life, was love, then why am I breaking every night? I would have stayed through your darkness, through every fear you hide, but you only love me halfway while I loved you blind. Was it easy walking out, knowing I'd still try? Did you feel a single crack when you said, break that? I don't miss who you are now, I miss who you pretended to be. And that's the hardest part of losing we. Who felt like a lie, but I know my heart was true. Every word I ever said, I meant it when I said I love you. Maybe one day I'll believe love doesn't disguise. It doesn't promise heaven and vanish overnight. If that was love, then why did it break me just to try? You said it was forever, I believed it every time. Now I'm left with broken pieces of a love that fell out like a lie. We stopped saying forever, but I kept holding on. You started reaching for my hand, but I said nothing was wrong. I memorized your distance like it was just a phase. Told myself real love has complicated days. You look at me like habit, not like you once did. But I kept loving you like we were still what we had been. You were already leaving, I was already gone, but my heart didn't listen. I stayed in love too long. I stayed in love with you too long, past the point of truth, past the nights you didn't try the way you used to. I held on to a memory while you were moving on. You let go when it got hard. I stayed in love too long. You said we needed space, said we'd figure it out, but space turned into silence and hope turned into doubt. I kept defending you when my friends could see you weren't fighting for us the way you once fought for me. holding on to echoes of what we done. I stayed in love with you too long, but I won't say anymore. I won't keep knocking gently on a closed door. I gave you all my seasons, every right and wrong. You stopped loving me, but I stayed in love too long. Maybe someday I'll forgive the girl who held on strong. She loved with everything she had, just a little too long. Everyone could see it fading, all the cracks beneath the shine. They'd ask me why I'm staying when you barely call me mine. I defended every distance, every cold and careless word. Turned your silence into stress, pretended I misheard. But close my eyes. Love can make you justify. I loved you past reason, past logic and pride, past all the sleepless nights I cried inside. I stayed when it was breaking, when it didn't make sense. You never crossed once. I called it devotion, but maybe it was treason against my own heart. I loved you past reason. The rare good days, like they erased the bad. Held on to every almost, like it was all we had. You pulled me close just long enough to keep me in your reach, but never long enough to give me what I need. I kept hoping love would change. If I just loved you harder, I loved you past reason, past the warnings and signs, past the way you slowly stopped being mine. I forgave what hurt me before you'd even try. Your comfort over my peace of mind. I lost my own reflection somewhere in the seasons. I gave you everything, I loved you past reason. Maybe I was scared of empty, scared of letting go. Maybe I confused intensity with love. I thought I'd know, but love shouldn't feel like proving your worth or begging someone to see what you're worth. I don't regret my heart for loving deep and wide. I just regret ignoring the truth I felt inside. I loved you past reason, so there